How do you keep in shape?
Well, where I live, it's pretty much outside the city, so I'm able to go running. I can go for a run for an hour. You gotta have a paper with you though, so you're able to show if someone is checking you.
Uh-huh.
And you can only run on your own. You're not allowed to go two people or three people. Just go on your own. You
Gotcha.
go an hour 15. If you have the paper with you, it's fine, because it's related also to your job. So that's good. I can run around here. There is a lot of space to run, so I can run my 12K.
Yeah.
I have a bike at home where I can train on the bike. I have a couple of things to do, some muscle training also home, so I can stay fit. That's not an issue at all. And also I have a simulator at home.
Really? Okay.
So I can race, I can train. I'm quite lucky, so it's good. I can stay in good shape and be ready for when the season starts again.
Nice. So yeah, that's one of the other things I wanted to talk to you about, the simulator. So which one do you have?
Do you want me to show you? I can show you.
Sure. Yeah. That'll be great.
I'll show you. I'll show it to you.
See that. Is it similar to the one that I saw at the Veld when you guys raced, or no, different one?
Yeah. So
this
is exactly. This is my setup.
Nice.
So this is my dog sleeping next to it.
Nice.
So you see the steering, you see the pedals.
I do.
Great pedals from Hoistingveld here. Very good setup. I just got a new seat yesterday that I bought, and then that I built in.
Nice.
So it's a great setup. I'm very happy with it, and I can spend hours and hours in it, and it's great training. iRacing is very very realistic.
Yeah.
And with the good setup I have, I can really train. I can really work on my driving style. I see similarities on the driving style from reality to simulator. So it's good. You can do some setup work and improve your driving, and I love it. I'm having a lot of fun in it, and meet some good people, some fast people. Sim pros are unbelievable fast, and I have a lot of stuff to learn from them. So it's super interesting. And what I like, is that I can just wake up in the morning and jump in my sim and do some laps.
Yeah.
In real, you can't do that. Testing is limited, and it's not the same. But here, I just wake up. If I feel like doing some lap, I go for it.
Gotcha. So I was in Munich, I think last December when we did the Sim Live. And you're absolutely right. I tried to race in some of those setups and I was not able to. It was my first time and it was so different from being like on the track. So I totally see that. But I also had a chance to go to the BMW Motorsport R&D facility, and I saw the real simulator, the real deal. So how is it different than that one? I mean, that one, it's far advanced, but is it considerably different?
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult to compare because this is a simulator that has been developed by very high BMW engineers. And they spent a lot of time on it, and developing it, and with us also, we've been in it and developing the model and the motion and everything. So my simulator at home doesn't move; it has no motion. What's impressive at the Munich facility is the motion. The motion is very close to reality and gives you a feedback almost like the real car. Where on my sim at home, I have no motion, so I have no motion feedback. So to feel the car, I only feel it through my eyes coordination, and the steering, of course, through the steering column and the pedals. That's how I feel the car. But at the end, you develop a feeling for it, and you can really also, with the feedback I get through the steering and through the pedals, you can really develop a car and improve a setup. So when you get used to it, it works. And the simulation at iRacing is so good that you can really feel something only through pedal steering and what you see. Where in Munich, as I said, the motion has been developed to such a high extent that you can actually feel the car like you would do it in real almost.
Cool. So, what do you think is the future of sim racing? I mean, we will eventually come out of this, pandemic, and maybe we'll resume to normal life. And I don't know how that's going to look, and we can talk about that in a second. But what do you think is the future of sim racing, maybe in parallel with real racing?
I see, I mean, when I see how much interest in the last couple of weeks, how much interest it came up for sim racing, I see a big future. I don't know if we can really talk about the future. I think we can talk already about the present, because
Yeah.
sim racing in the last days has been developing hugely, with a lot of drivers involved in it. Even before, even before the virus, we were already racing on iRacing. I mean, I was a little less because, of course, we have less time. So I started to race more. I mean, two guys came to my house in January to install a new sim for me. These guys were Alex Voss and Lauren Heinrich. They came to my
Okay.
house and did the sim for me and the sim setup, and because I ordered some new stuff, and I'm quite new into that, so it's good to have some experienced guys that know exactly how to set up a sim and stuff. So that was a great help for me. And at the end, I have a really good setup home. A few updates are going to come, I think, in the months or something. But like the screen, because now I have a triple screen, I would like to switch to a full screen, which is even better. So yeah, like, you can always update a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think, yeah, sim racing is us racing drivers. We take that seriously. It's not like just we go out there and it's just a game. We start
Video game.
training more and do more laps, and if you do it, you want to do it properly. And
Yeah.
also, it is a good training for us. So we really enjoy it. I really enjoy it.
Nice.
And I think even when real racing is gonna come back, I think we still, of course, time is gonna allow us less to do some hours on it, because we're gonna travel more again. Especially me with racing in the US, it's going to be a lot of traveling. But as soon as you get the chance to do some races, we're going to do it, because we know, especially in the winter when the season's going to go down again, because we know it's a great training, and it helps you keep your reflexes fit.
Nice. So, who's your out of your team? Who's your biggest opponent out of the
In
BMW?
sim racing,
Yeah, out of the BMW Works team.
well, I think, it's difficult to point one. I think
Yeah.
they're all very fast and very good.
Yeah.
They all
Yeah.
have a very good stuff at home, a very good sim at home to train and to race. So I think, for us, it's important that we all are performing, because
Yeah.
there are some tracks where some other guys are going to be super good.
Yeah.
Like, for example, Laguna Seca. You saw it in qualifying.
Yeah.
There were a couple of Fords in front. So I think our goal is to develop a good setup all together, because we train all together at the end. We test all together, and it's fun because we share information. We try some stuff on the setup and things, and then we share the info, and then at the end, we all run the same setup, but we develop the setup together, and we communicate on TeamSpeak and stuff, which is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And at the end, I think it's also good because we get to know each other even better
Yeah.
as teammates. And at the end, it's very close together. So there is for sure there is one in front and one second and one third, but I think we all on a very good level,
Yeah.
and that's what makes it fun. And our opponents are super good in the IMSA. They're getting better and better.
Yeah.
I think the IMSA Championship, the iRacing Pro Series, is a super cool one. I think it's great from IMSA to put that together. So we're having fun. We like it.
Nice. So I mean, it's interesting how things have changed, right? I mean, a few years ago, if you would have done this at home, your wife would have probably told you that you're just playing video games, right? And you don't have time for anything else. So
yeah. I mean, she's counting the hours I spend in there.
Oh, she is, of course, yeah, natural. So we're talking about IMSA, right? So you've switched from DTM to IMSA, just a few months ago. Unfortunately, you didn't have a chance to really race a lot in IMSA this year, but you've done it before. How was the transition from DTM racing to IMSA?
It's an interesting transition, because there's a lot of stuff for me to learn. So there's a lot of new tracks. First of all, I mean, in the US, I know Daytona, Sebring. That's it. So all the other tracks are going to be new tracks for me.
Okay.
So there's a lot of learning stuff to do on the tracks. The car is also a different one. I mean, I've raced the M8 a little bit, not much, but I've raced the M8 a little bit before that.
Yeah.
But it's yeah, it's a learning process. It's a learning curve for me. But I felt very welcomed in the team at RLL immediately, because I knew also the guys from a couple of races at Daytona, at Sebring. So I'm happy to go to this team, because it's guys I really like to work with. It's a great team. So for me, it's a great challenge, and I'm very happy to be there. You know, in the IMSA series, I think it's definitely one of the most interesting and one of the biggest endurance series in the world. So yeah, it's great to be part of it.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's a big challenge for me, learning new tracks and new stuff. But it's great.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean the season started pretty well, right? With the win at Daytona, so that was great. I was kind of looking forward to see the other races. Hopefully that will resume this year. But let me ask you another question about racing. How about Formula E? What's your take on Formula E and the electric, championship?
Yeah, Formula E. I mean, I'm the test driver and the reserve driver for the team for Andretti BMW. So it's also for me a very interesting thing. You know, I've been this year. I mean, last year a little bit less, but the year before I did quite a lot of development work for the season 5 car, which was for me super interesting. And I think this is a championship that grows every year more and more. Manufacturers getting more and more involved in it. The tracks are great. The new car is great. You know, it has more power. I think it's a super interesting championship, and the car is also fun to drive because it's very different. I mean, I'm lucky enough that I'm in this, if I can say, era that I can drive a V8 car.
Yeah.
And then I can drive also an electric car. You know,
Yeah.
I get a taste of both, which is very interesting as a driver point of view, because it's very different driving styles, very different approach. But both are super interesting, and I'm lucky enough that I can drive both. Of course, less the Formula E, because as a test driver, you drive for sure, but you're not driving as much as a race driver. But you drive enough to get a taste of the car and do some development work, which is great. And I think, yeah, Formula E is a great championship, definitely.
Yeah, nice. I mean, I think that's one of the races of the future, and I believe as soon as we get more regular sports cars on the road, even the regular cars, I mean, I could see like another championship forming. That you could race an M car that's all electric. So I mean, there will be some interesting things coming up there for sure. And like you said,
Yeah.
the style of racing is completely different. I've been watching quite a few Formula E races live, and yeah, just very very different. But and if it would be one championship that you would love to race in, which one would it be?
These days, well, I've raced 15 years in one of them,
DTM, yeah.
which was DTM. So that's done. But apart from that, I don't know. I'm pretty happy where I am, I have to say. So yeah, having done 15 years in DTM, also one of the greatest touring cars series in the world. So that was for me definitely a great time.
Yeah.
IMSA is amazing. For sure, having a taste of Formula E would be something very interesting for me. But I don't know if it's compatible with an IMSA championship. I think it's a bit too much, probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's say apart from these ones, that's also the biggest where BMW is racing in for now.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's where I stand right now.
I mean, what do you think about DTM? Do you think that's gonna keep going? Do you see a future for racing in DTM? Are people still interested based on what you see when you go out racing, or when you used to go racing?
Well, I don't know. I mean, of course, the years I've been through in DTM, there was always great interest, great fan, great atmosphere. The paddock being open to everyone, and
yeah.
I mean, the cheering you get in DTM is just amazing. Also the cars are great to drive. They are super fast now with the new engine. So I think there is a lot of interest for DTM. Now we have to see with this big break how this is going to end up. And also we don't really know what's going to happen with manufacturers in DTM.
Sure.
So I think we just have to wait and see really what's going to happen. but for sure, the years I've been there, there was a lot of interest on it, and a lot of people came to watch us. And I saw some similarities, I have to say, in the IMSA. In Daytona, for example, there was like probably close to 100,000 people coming to watch the race. A lot of a lot of interest. Atmosphere is amazing. The people in the US are great people, to a great crowd. They come, they do a lot of atmosphere, and it's great to see all these people there. And these people also knew about DTM, and they were cheering for us. And the atmosphere is very similar to what I know from DTM. And probably at some tracks I've heard it's even more. So I can't wait to be back at racing there.
Yeah. Speaking of your teammates, is it fair to say that Alex Zanardi is an inspiration to all of us and to you guys as well?
Definitely. Alex Zanardi is an inspiration, is a role model. I learned a lot. I mean, we were teammates in Spa in 2015 with BMWBLOG, and we had a great livery on the car. That was something very special. I mean, in that race weekend, I learned a lot. I learned probably as much as in half of my career, in a weekend, just sharing the weekend with Alex. And he was really fast. I mean, we had an engine problem, unfortunately, close to the end, an hour to the end. But I think a top 5 was possible for us, which would have been amazing. And he's just a great person. His motivation, what he's able to do. He's never got enough. He always wants more, and he wants to show, and he wants to be one of the best all the time. And that's great. I look up to that, and I really enjoy the time with him, and I hope we can do something together again soon.
Yeah, nice. So speaking of learning, what advice would you give to maybe a young generation that wants to become a pro driver in any championship? Are there any lessons that you could share, or any advice that you could give?
Well, I think one of the advices is, the first one is, you need to love what you do. When you come into racing, you need to love it from the bottom of your heart. And you should never give up, because there are times which are very difficult in racing, like in every sport. Racing is probably even tougher at points, because you're not the only one deciding there. You can lead a race, and you can have a puncture at some point. It's not like, for example, playing golf or playing tennis, or you are the only boss, basically. But in racing, it's a bit different, because you can lead the race, and 5 laps to the end, and 1 lap to the end, you can have a puncture, or something can break down, or a back marker can drive into you, or there's a lot of factors that come into play that makes racing very difficult, but then also very attractive. So I think it's very important to never give up, always believe in yourself, and work hard.
Gotcha. And if you were to switch over to like regular people, what kind of driving advice would you give everyone? Let's say everybody that drives like on the road. What are some of the tips that you would say? Hey, here's how you could be safe. Here's how you could still have fun. Are there always some basic rules that you would tell people to follow in their normal driving?
Yeah, I think the first one is, when you're driving on the highway, for example, always look far in front. Okay. That's very important, because it helps you to anticipate a lot of things that are happening. If you look always close to your, if you always look on your engine bonnet, then if there's a emergency braking or something, a crash in front of you, you won't be able to avoid it. But if you look far, you're always able to anticipate what's going to happen. You can brake, you have the time, and things are happening slower than if you look far in front of you. I think that's one of the most important things on the road, to be able to anticipate stuff.
Gotcha. Let's talk about regular cars right now. So what's your favorite BMW today?
I'm a big fan of the M5. I'm a big fan of the BMW M5, because the car is very fast, but it's also very comfortable. And I like comfortable cars. Because I travel a lot by car. Mm-hmm. And when you go on the highway, or highways are not always perfect. They are sometimes bumpy, and you want to have a comfortable car, but you also want to have a fun car. And the M5 is kind of does everything. You can drive fast with it. You can have a very sporty feeling, aggressive, But on
Yeah.
the other hand, if you press on the button to make your suspension a little bit softer, you can drive very, very comfortable, and the car has a lot of space. You can travel 4 people very easily with a lot of stuff in the trunk. That's what I like about the M5. It's just a super compromise, and you can have so much fun with it.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, I love the M5, but if I were to maybe pick today, I would take the M8 Grand Coupe probably over the M5. I find that it's such a fine car, and it's got the same engine, probably still a little bit heavier, but still, I mean, it's a fantastic
So
car.
it's funny that you tell me that, because this is my next car.
No, your
This
new
is the next
company
car I
car?
ordered, actually, an
Oh,
M8
really?
Grand
Yeah.
Coupe. So I'm really looking forward to it. It's the first time I order a Grand Coupe,
Yeah.
but I'm really looking forward to it.
Which color combination?
So it's gonna be the outside is gonna be the name of the color is the
The Ametrine.
frozen Arctic gray.
Oh, for nice
Yeah, and
frozen
the
color.
inside
Okay,
is gonna be like white.
nice. That's cool. And out of all of your company cars, which one did you love the most?
The
You had
M5.
the M5, yeah. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
And if you were to go back even more in time, what would be a classic BMW that you would love to drive or own, or
the M3 E30.
the E30 M3? Gotcha. Yeah, I mean
Yes,
that's such a classic.
definitely. Yeah,
Yeah, I
and
do love
probably
that.
probably the convertible version even.
The convertible. Okay, interesting.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I love the E30 M3. I do have to say that I'm a little bit more biased because I love the 1M as well. I do have one, and I find like the 1M it's a perfect successor to the E30 M3. So
Yeah,
yeah, both great cars. Very cool, Bruno. I don't want to keep you too long. It was great chatting
that's
with
fine.
you. Yeah, hopefully, I mean, hopefully we get back to normal. I mean, what do you think will happen after this? Do you think we'll be able to go back to where we have racing with spectators, or do you think for a while maybe it will be just the you drivers and trying to be safe? I know that in Germany they're trying to open up the Bundesliga also, and I think they're talking about, hey, we're gonna do this in a safe way, but there will be no spectators. It will be all empty. Do you think racing will
Yeah.
probably go like that for a while too?
So I'm a bit of two minds for that. The one side of me is like, I really want to go racing as quick as possible because I really miss it.
Yeah.
The other side of me is racing without spectators isn't really racing because we're gonna miss the atmosphere. We're gonna miss the people being there cheering for you, and at the end they make the atmosphere on the race weekend. And if you don't have fans there,
Yeah.
that's why I'm a bit 50-50. The one side of me is like, yeah, I want to go racing quick, and because I miss it. The other side of me is like, yeah, but if there is no spectators, and if our fans are not here
Yeah.
to make the atmosphere, to create the whole racing atmosphere, maybe it's good to wait a little bit more until we can open it to them. So I'm a bit of two minds there.
Yeah.
Let's see what's gonna come.
Yeah, I mean, if you're thinking about, the 24 hours of Nürburgring, that would be kind of strange with no spectators. I mean, that's
Yeah,
the whole,
the
of the
24 hours
whole
of
race.
Nürburgring. I mean, the spectators make so much atmosphere there, doing the barbecues everywhere, and being there, and just day and night, and by snow, by hot conditions, they were always there.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
without them, I mean, let's see what's gonna happen. I can't predict.
Yeah, cool. Very cool, Bruno. Well, it was great chatting with you. Always a pleasure. Looking forward to seeing you hopefully at the next event.
Thank you.
I love taking rides with you because I always learn something new, and I always realize how slow I am. When I go with a pro driver. I think us journalists. Always think that they were like really good on the track till we really drive with a pro driver, and then you start to realize that you're not that good. That you're probably using only 25% of the car capabilities. I do remember following you. I think it was either an M5 event in an Estoril, and I was trying
Yeah,
to.
could be. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and I was trying to follow your pace car, and you would slow down. I still wouldn't be able to keep up, So it's always good to see you guys drive and follow you because you do learn a lot. So
Thank you.
it's a treat for us for sure.
Thank you.
Very cool. Well, I hope you're staying safe with your wife and the family, and I look forward to seeing you. I love that you're active on social media too. So we do follow you, and I think a lot of people follow you. And it's always great to engage with the fans that way as well. So keep doing that.
Thank you very much.
Bruno, it's good talking to you. Take care.
Soon.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.
Take care.